Hey guys, welcome back. DeFi, degens, drip, and farm for poverty. I'm your host, Drip Coach, dropping knowledge bombs on all Forex Shark related projects. And in today's video, giving you an update on the Crypto Atlas AMA, as well as some information dropped in the Telegram. So we're going to talk about the PIGGY price, the Liberation contract update that I've been waiting on, the winner from the contest that won, as well as the second contest still going on, and the True Secret audit that should be out maybe by the time you watch this video, and some big updates on the fiat on-ramp and emissions rate change. So let's jump straight into the PIGGY token price. So as you guys are aware, we did not have the launch on the 18th, and on the 18th, there was speculation that it was some sells coming from PIGGY, the dev on the team, and then that may have caused cascading sells down, and then Forex mentioned that he had to block his wallet and get him back to support the contract migration and the hosting and stuff they needed. And then we saw additional sell pressure, maybe some fear. That was my dog. So I guess since I'm doing an AMA or a video, I got to have my dog in the background like Pikachu or Pika, and dude is a quiet one. But anyway, back to this. So we have started to climb out of this hole. So we didn't quite break the 100 mark. I know some people were waiting for it to go below 100. And if the farms launch on time, like they should, and the sentiment that we got from this AMA says that they should, and I'm a little more back in the positive light because of the fiat on-ramp, but still, I'm not fiat, sorry, because of Liberation contract updates, but still waiting to see that. And I'm gonna get into that in this video. But we've definitely made a big move, 28% over the last 6 days or so, 5 days from now. So that's pretty cool to see. And next up, let's get into the Liberation contract that was done in the AMA. So I'm going to read this message first. So Kevin Jones said, will the Liberation contract be fixed before launch? And Forex said it already is. The site just hasn't been updated to the latest version yet because we're going to have DAO members go through it tomorrow before we push it. And that was something he actually said at the very end of Crypto Atlas AMA, saying that the DAO members would test it. That's also up in Wonder Woman and Irene's notes. So shouts out to both of them for always putting together amazing notes and summaries of these AMAs. So the new drip Liberation will be moved soon to the Animal Farm site. Final run through in the DAO tomorrow. So I am looking forward to seeing that, and then I will be back on team November 1 launch date if that is done. So right now I'm still holding my breath, but hopefully I don't have to hold for long. So we will see what goes on from there. Also, there was the announcement for the first 5K winner. So Zaria Van Pelt from the United Kingdom, she won the $5,000. Remember, that's paid out in BUSD, and there is still another opportunity on the Animal Farm app to win this second entry. And he also mentioned that there will be additional giveaways and entries that go out. Not as many people have entered into this one, so you might have a better opportunity to do so. I haven't done it myself either, but he said every time they do a launch of a project, they will do some kind of giveaway contest. So this is going to be part of the new marketing. Really look forward to seeing that and how they're going to integrate that with more onboarding going forward. So that is cool to see. Next up, he mentioned the Truth Seekers audit should be available maybe by the time you guys watch this video. Maybe it'll be posted. He did say that he would have it by tonight or tomorrow, as you can see here in the chat. So right now we haven't gotten it yet, but hopefully that will be out very shortly. That will be cool to see. Truth Seekers is kind of a new independent DAO governance kind of system. I don't really know much about them, but I do know Crypto Truth Bombs have seen some of his content. I can't attest to who he is as a person or whatnot, but I do know that this is something the space needs, having maybe independent auditors or whatever the case may be that are supporting the growth of DeFi. And we'll see how that goes. There's nothing on here for you to search for, like on RugDoc. You can find the Animal Farm audit. Paladin has done the audit, and you can run the Slither contract. I might try to run the Slither Solidity environment to do the audit myself, so you guys can see. Keep that on the back burner because I already showed you guys that my Solidity knowledge is limited. But you know, just to give some transparency, because I know there's a lot of people in the Animal Farm and Drip network that are not coders and scripters, and they're kind of relying on us as content creators and of course the devs to do these things. So maybe that would give a little people some support on my channel. I run that myself, so I'll look into that. Next up, we have the fiat on-ramp update. So that was a big announcement today. So we got approval for the fiat on-ramp for drip dogs and pigs. You can use credit or debit card to buy these tokens on our website. We're using a company that handles the payment processing. You buy directly into our tokens. So this is a shout out and testament to the new project manager, Original DB. So he has stepped into the project manager role, and Stonecutters has stepped into the community management role. And apparently this was something he pushed forward and fast tracked to get done. So that is cool to see, and that will 100% make it much easier for people to get access to our ecosystem. And I speculate that it would actually be the Animal Farm pigs token that would see the bulk of that appreciation. I know we're all on team drip, but hear me out on my logic, because the sys site has been cleaned up so that it's more appealing to people. So if they already have friction to get into crypto due to the number of barriers of entry, going to a site like Drip is going to be even more barriers. And also, once they're there, in order for them to realize profits, remember they have to buy the token, stake the token, and then go back every day to hydrate or claim. Whereas in the pig pen, all they would have to do on this site is buy pigs with their credit card or debit card, and then they're on the site, and then they would come here and stake that, and then all they would have to do at any time, never have to claim their pigs, but they can come in and claim rewards. That's BUSD. That's one less step than claiming drip, selling drip, and then on the native side, taking that BNB, swapping it to BUSD. Here, you remove that, you get straight into pigs. So I think personally that the Animal Farm pigs would see the most price appreciation, not to mention the game theory and stuff like that, but specifically relating to the ability to use the fiat on-ramp. So that's pretty cool. And not to mention it's fiat on-ramp, not fiat off-ramp. Remember, you want to make it easy for people to get in and a couple barriers to get out, but you can always withdraw. We already know that, but there's no easy fiat off-ramp. You got to go through centralized exchanges, unless you go through like local Bitcoin and stuff like that, where you sell over the counter. But that's another video for another time. So just a quick message, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss another video. This helps bring brand awareness to the channel, as well as all Forex Shark related projects. Thank you. Anyway, next up, huge announcement in regards to the emissions rates on the farms and pools. So we're gonna go straight to the Telegram for that one, because it's easier to read it straight from the horse's mouth right here. So an important point I made in the interview, which I wanted to write about today, is that we took our numbers from V1 and adjusted the emissions rate based on the new system to maximize price appreciation of Animal Farm dogs and pigs and greatly increase the BNB BUSD dividend. Version 1 had very high dog and pig emissions, and this encouraged people to take profit by selling dogs and pigs they farmed instead of using them to earn BUSD in the pig pen. If you're going to earn 10% that week in the pig pen paid out in BUSD, but you could dump pigs you farm for 30% profit, people would sell instead of stake, especially if they were worried their dogs or pigs would lose value due to inflation. So I'm going to pause right there to kind of unpack this. So remember, the whole purpose of the farm, and before the Animal Farm, the main point of the farm was to stake your native assets, or your crypto assets, and earn the farm's native token, in this case dogs. Nobody really cares about the farm's native token on other farming protocols, so you're supposed to sell this to realize your price appreciation, your dividends, your interest rate, whatever you want to call it. Like I told you guys, think of this like a savings account. So you want to get your interest that the savings account paid you, and it was coming in dogs. So you're like, well, I don't really care about dogs. I'm just going to sell them. So that was happening for the version 1, and that happens currently on all the other farms in the ecosystem of DeFi. Now, what he says he's changed, or the reason for that, is because if you were getting 10%, let's just say you had $100 here and you got paid out $10 worth of dogs, you would sell those dogs. But if you were only earning, by staking them, you're only earning $5 worth of dogs, then it makes way more sense for you to sell the dogs and get the 10, or in his example, 30% more. So you're going to get, $15 versus 5, whatever the case may be. So there was no incentive to keep the dogs, even though you're getting paid out in a stable coin. And for the example, it would actually be in the pig pen. But we're just using dogs right now. So he's changed that so that the emission rate, meaning you're getting less dogs and pigs here. The APRs aren't here, but you're getting less dogs and pigs. Therefore, the incentive now is to stake them, because you're not making enough to sell due to the taxes and the emissions rates. So it will take more capital potentially to earn, and a longer time to earn that same amount of dogs. So maybe you're getting 100 dogs in about 2 weeks with your previous capital, but now it's going to take you maybe 20 weeks or 200 weeks, something like that. Who knows how long it'll take, but you'll be able to earn the price appreciation in the BNB dividend and BUSD dividend, depending on which farm you go into. All right, so let's go back to the rest of this to unpack it, because it'll make more sense because I have some Excel spreadsheets, of course. The inflation rate of AFD and AFP is going to be heavily restricted. AFP by about 90% and AFD by 60%. That will make AFP and AFD way more rare and in demand and allow for massive price appreciation. The higher AFP and especially AFD goes in our new model, the higher the BNB and BUSD dividends are. And now, since the tax on AFD, which is swap per dividend payout, is going from 3% to 3 to 87%, that alone is designed to increase the BUSD payout in the pig pen by around 30x, and this is multiplied by the price appreciation of animal farm dogs. So that is a lot of numbers to unpack there, but let's explain that really quickly with, of course, a spreadsheet. I didn't type a lot in here, but basically here's an example. The old AFP, or let's just call this AFD because that's actually what we were talking about here. Let's go AFD because that's the one that's being, AFP is being reduced by 90%, sorry. So that is correct. So let's just say the old APY of animal farm pigs was 780% per year. And that came out to 2.14% per day. Well, the new one, and he used these numbers like 600 to 60% or 780 to 78%. That's why I picked these out. He just gave an example. The new one will be 78% per year or 0.21% per day. So that's the 90% reduction. Now, I didn't bother doing all this to explain this. I got bored or got busy. So what he's saying here, let me pull it up side by side. Be easier. Fill that out anyway because it's easier to understand. So in this part where he's talking about animal farm dogs, which is switched from dividend payout, is going from 3% to 3 to 87%. This is because, remember, before, to sell the dogs, you always had a flat 3% in, 3% out. So if the price of dogs was at 90 bucks, which is a 2x, there's going to only be a $3 tax in and out. But now it's a variable tax depending on where you're at. So there's much more coming out, and as the price appreciates, it's even more money. So what he was referencing is that by reducing the payout, the APY, by 90%, and by having this increased tax reduction, variable tax model, you're basically compounding the difference of these two numbers. So you're getting paid out a lot more here every day, and you only had a low in and out fee. Now you're getting a lot less, and you're getting hit with a higher tax, depending on where you're at in the spectrum. So since there's no one selling, it's more likely that the price appreciates. So that's why I have these values here just to show a 5x. So when you have $225 for the dog token at a 60%, there's $135 worth of tax being added per sell if someone's at 60% to the BNB payouts. Whereas if it was only at 3%, then that's only $6, right? So that's what this all breaks down to say, where he gets his numbers from. So the higher the value goes up for the actual dog and pigs token, and the variable tax associated with it means that it's more incentive for people to stake it and get the BNB or BUSD dividends, depending on which token they stake. All right, hope that made sense. All right, next up, this changes the game theory completely, where now it makes no sense to farm animal farm pigs or dogs to dump it, because the BUSD and BNB dividends you earn from staking them is significantly more than the APY you would earn by farming and dumping them. So this goes back to what I was saying earlier. Forex also mentioned this in the AMA. He realized with V1 and with what he's seen with Drip that people only buy hype. They want to see a chart that goes up and to the right. They don't want to see this. So even though we understand here, someone coming in goes, nope, I'm not getting in. It's down. I'm gonna wait for a correction or whatever the case may be. And especially if they're new retail investors, they don't understand it, and they're not doing any kind of T&A. They want to buy because everybody on Twitter and on Instagram and on Facebook and on YouTube is talking about it, and they think it's going to the moon because the chart is going up and to the right, and they want to ride it to the moon. So he's learned that in order to have people continue to invest in the ecosystem, he has to have a chart that does that. And the best way to do that is to disincentivize selling. And that's exactly what this does. So that was just a summary of what we just mentioned. This also means people don't have to worry about inflation devaluing their tokens while they're staked. It's a major game changer. It's designed to increase the BUSD BNB dividends payout by 100x. This part about inflation is huge because we see what that's doing to our fiat currency, the value being inflated, but specifically in relations to assets. So if there are being more than flooded on the market, then they have less value due to supply and demand, right? So if you restrict the amount that are being paid out due to the emissions rate, and I'm going to break that down in a video coming out for you guys tomorrow that explains the emission rates in much more detail. It's already scheduled, but it'll give you numbers that you can actually use. So I'm not going to do that here. But basically he's saying you're going to be getting, people are earning less dogs and less pigs. So that makes them rare. Supply and demand economics. If you have less of something, then it has more value. It's just that simple. And then finally, on top of this, only about 30% of the users decided to claim LPs from their credit, which means we have a ton of liquidity to both pump the price and subsidize the BNB dividends in the dog pound. So I mentioned that on the previous one from yesterday, but basically there were LP tokens that people already got their money. So don't mistake that you've lost anything. If you were given the option to get LP tokens and you decided that you wanted single asset dogs, then you got the equivalent value. But that means this LP, dogs and BUSD, is still sitting in the contract. So that BUSD equivalent is still there and the dogs are there. So what he said they're going to do is they're going to break this apart, burn these dogs, take the BUSD, buy more dogs, and then burn those. So that just offers a higher price appreciation for dogs. And again, so that means dogs will definitely see some serious price appreciation that I have here. I think is very realistic. I don't know exactly where, but there's literally zero incentive to sell. Some people still will, but he's showing you that if you hold, you're gonna get paid out in the BNB as well as BUSD. So all this, wrap that up. No, it's another long video for me, but I am super excited and bullish about all this. And I'm still on the fence, waiting for the liberation contract to be moved, but on the fence for the November 1. But he reiterated and doubled down that he's 100% confident that this will launch on the 1st. So we will see. I do hope this is indeed the last delay, but I know there's a lot of people sitting on the sideline speculating. I showed you that in the previous videos. We even see that with the drip price right now. We are sitting still below $5, so $4.89. I think on the BUSD side, like $4.50 or something like that. So there's a lot of people still waiting for the farms to launch before they make their moves. So the capital that we saw sitting out there is still there. The big moves from the whales with the wallets with 50,000 drip sitting in the balance. Nothing has changed in that regard. Same thing for the BUSD LPs. We've seen the drip garden kind of continue to take a hit. That is approaching 400,000. We got all the way up to like 517,000, I think. So 117,000 drip USD have been pulled out since that delay. So I think a lot of this will definitely pour back in when we launch. So it's not if we launch, it's when we launch. And I just am hoping that that will indeed be on November 1st. So fingers crossed that 3 days, 12 hours from now, we will see that. All right, hope you guys found this valuable. Also, no, I'm gonna put that in another video. It's too long. Never mind. All right, so that is it for this one. You know the drill. Hit that HBO special, lift daily, and achieve your impossible. See ya.